Tonight on KGW News.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
An Oregon State trooper opens fire. What new video reveals about the fatal shooting? A grand jury found justified.
The situational awareness that this officer displayed during this harrowing encounter is truly amazing.
Also tonight, call 911, get transferred to a nurse. The county that plans to make a switch to offload calls that aren't true emergencies. Plus, a fitting day for a green grand opening.
This is a piece of art.
What makes this local cannabis dispensary a little bit different? Good evening, and let's get right to breaking news in Portland, where the city and police union have reached an agreement to adopt body cameras. The two sides have been negotiating around the use of body cams for months now. Last we heard, they'd reached an impasse in February. You may remember the Portland Police Association wanted officers to be able to review body cam footage in advance of writing reports, even in cases that involved officers using deadly force. But the city wanted some restrictions with stricter rules for deadly force incidents. A union spokesperson now telling us they expect the city to release details around the new policy tomorrow. No word on a timeline for implementation. Right now, Portland is the largest city in the U.S. that does not use police body cams. Meanwhile, both sides say they have long agreed, yes, they are an important tool. And tonight we're seeing a real world example of why. From Oregon State Police. It is a newly released video from a trooper's body cam and dash cam from a deadly shootout 10 days ago along I-5 near Salem. The video helping a grand jury unanimously decide the trooper's actions when he shot and killed an armed suspect were justified. Let's bring in Catherine Cook now. Catherine, we want to warn our viewers here, the video is difficult to watch.
Yeah, David, it is very intense, but to be clear, we won't be showing the moment the suspect was killed. There is a lot to see here, captured from 3 different angles. We shared it all with a criminal justice expert tonight. He says this is a textbook example of law enforcement surviving a life and death situation that few would understand without the video.
This is dashcam video from a witness. You can see 31-year-old Felipe Amezcua Monzo running into traffic on I-5 near Salem. He points a gun at the driver of this white car and tries to get in. Then he fires a shot at another driver. Now, let's switch to dashcam video captured by Oregon State Trooper Andrew Tuttle. You can see the suspect crossing the interstate as Trooper Tuttle pulls up. The suspect runs onto the grass shoulder as Trooper Tuttle commands him to get down. Trooper Tuttle's body cam video shows what happens next. He commands the suspect to get on the ground before the suspect fires first.
He's got a gun. Get on the ground now! Hey!
Here's what the exchange looked like from Tuttle's dash cam. You can see the suspect's bullets hitting the water as Trooper Tuttle runs back up to his car. The suspect and Trooper continue to exchange gunfire for several seconds. Eventually, Tuttle hits Amezcua Monzo, shooting him 6 times. He died on scene. Investigators say Tuttle may have been grazed by a bullet.
Shots fired! 1299. I was hit by something.
While Tuttle waits for backup, a man pulls over and runs up to help. He identifies himself as a retired Pierce County Sheriff's deputy.
He's still moving. I was hit by something. I don't know what.
Tuttle gave the retired deputy his second weapon, and they wait together for backup.
Certainly the situational awareness that this officer displayed during this harrowing encounter is truly amazing.
Dr. Keith Taylor is a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York City. He watched the video in this case.
I hope that helps the general public understand the difficulties that officers face when they put on that uniform.
From his perspective, Taylor believes Trooper Tuttle did what had to be done, given Amezcua Monzo's actions.
Certainly, he didn't listen to the lawful orders of the officer to drop the weapon and instead responded with bullets.
This is the gun investigators recovered from Amezcua Monzo. It had a blue laser sight and light. Tuttle says the suspect aimed it at his head during the shootout. Ultimately, the grand jury ruled Tuttle's use of force was justified since Amezcua Monzo didn't listen to verbal warnings while using deadly force. Things they know because of this video.
The body cam is an indispensable form of evidence. The more body cams, the better.
Now, after the grand jury's review of this case, Marion County DA Paige Clarkson shared a statement. It said in part, While this is not the ending anyone would have wanted for Mr. Amezcua Monzo, our community owes a debt of gratitude to Trooper Tuttle for his courageous actions. David.
Absolutely remarkable that nobody else was seriously injured. Thank you, Catherine. Washington will soon become the 10th state in the nation to ban the sale of assault weapons. Now, before the governor signs the bill into law, customers have been seen flocking to gun stores. That is because the legislation does not ban possession, just further sales, meaning current gun owners will not be impacted. The bill covers assault firearms like AR-type rifles. Supporters in Washington say they have been fighting for this for years.
I was in Olympia the day that it was initially voted off the Senate floor. That was just an incredible and moving moment of history. I will genuinely never forget what that evening felt like.
Advocates say the measure will reduce the number of mass shootings. Opponents point to mental health rather than firearms. The bill is likely to face a legal challenge, and that's what's happening right now in Oregon with Measure 114, which you might remember voters approved last fall. That includes a permit requirement and a ban on high-capacity magazines. But it's essentially all on pause as the measure faces both state and federal challenges. The next hearing in Harney County that is scheduled for June. Oregon lawmakers are also working on a similar bill that, if passed, would also likely face court challenges. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. In Washington County, a man is under arrest for allegedly shooting a woman in Aloha. Neighbors responded to hearing gunshots just after midnight on Southwest Farmington Road. Deputies say they found a woman outside an apartment shot in the leg. She was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Detectives eventually arrested the suspect in North Portland. 20-year-old Miguel Vidalez now faces charges that include attempted murder. Teachers in Woodburn have reached a deal with the district averting a strike set for Monday. The union announced that deal late last night after a 13-hour mediation session. Teachers were pushing for a pay raise and smaller class sizes. No word on the terms of the new contract. In Washington, the death penalty has now been abolished. Governor Jay Inslee signing the bill into law today, which prevents capital punishment from being implemented in the future. The state Supreme Court invalidated the law in 2018, ruling it was racially biased. The state has not executed anyone since 2010. And following in Washington's footsteps, Oregon governor says the state is now partnering with OHSU to secure a 3-year supply of mifepristone. This comes after a federal judge in Texas suspended the FDA's decades-long approval of the abortion drug. So far, the U.S. Supreme Court has blocked that decision from taking effect nationwide, though that pause is set to expire tomorrow night. Well, meanwhile, Oregon Democrats are making a move to amend the state constitution when it comes to abortion, same-sex marriage, and gender-affirming care. Evan Watson explains why.
Oregon's state constitution already protects the equality of rights on the basis of sex. Democrats are now proposing to add the right to abortion, sexual orientation, and gender-affirming care into the state constitution.
Oregon law, we have really strong laws for LGBTQ folks and healthcare access in women in Oregon. But we have to pay attention to what's happening nationally right now.
Blair Stimvik is a communication manager for Basic Rights Oregon, a group that's advocating for this proposal. If state lawmakers pass this proposed amendment, Oregonians would vote on it in November 2024.
We've seen time and again that Oregon values really do align with this ballot measure. Oregonians really value the freedom to be who you are, marry who you love, and get the healthcare access that you and your doctor, see as necessary. And so we feel good about getting this passed now so that we don't have to worry so much in the future.
Stimvik says the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade and federal abortion rights was a catalyst for this proposed amendment. They also point to laws being passed in other states, such as Idaho banning gender-affirming care for trans youth earlier this month. This proposal would also remove language that bans gay marriage from the Oregon state constitution.
We've known, for years that the Oregon Constitution does still say that marriage is between one man and one woman. Of course, that, doesn't stand as law right now, thanks to Supreme Court cases. But as I mentioned, that could be overturned, and then marriage equality would be an open question in Oregon, which I know is really scary for a lot of LGBTQ plus folks who call the state home.
Evan Watson reporting there. Meanwhile, some Republican lawmakers suggest the proposed amendments could have broader implications, such as potentially setting a right for minors to access abortion without parental knowledge. Now, Oregon law currently allows minors 15 and older to provide consent. Supporters say this ballot measure would not affect that. If this proposal passes the legislature, Oregonians would vote on it in November of next year. Well, today is 4/20, and to mark the unofficial marijuana holiday of sorts, the Cowlitz County Tribe held a grand opening of its new dispensary. The building is actually made of old shipping containers stacked on top of each other. It provides a unique experience because it features art and design features that engage and educate customers about the tribe's history, culture, and role in the community.
All of the details you see in this room, they're based in Cowlitz culture, they're based in Cowlitz art, they're deliberate, they're not overwhelming, they're subtle, but they're purposeful, and we're very proud of it.
Yeah, tribal leaders add this is also going to be a big economic boost for the Ridgefield area. The dispensary is named Kanapsu, which means grass.